Boys and girls, thank you for coming in so quietly from recess today. I really appreciate how you went right to your seat and showed me that you were 100% ready to move on to our next activity by having your eyes on me. So you have a couple of things in front of you right now. You have a pair of scissors, you have a glue stick, you have some colored pencils, and you have a piece of paper. We're going to be using all of those materials in just a minute, but for right now, I don't want you touching anything. So your hands should be empty and your eyes are on me, and I'm looking for 100%. Perfect. So we've already been talking about adding unlike fractions, and the big focus of last week's math lesson was understanding how to find the least common multiple or the least common denominator. And we learned two different methods to do that. So a quick review, the first one we learned was called the mighty M. And basically with the mighty M, if I had the problem of 2/3 plus 1/4, I would put my denominators, one on each side of the M, and I would write, who knows what those are called? What are those numbers called? They are that's right, Alexis, they are the multiples for each of these numbers. And if I look at that, I can see that the one that they have in common, that's the smallest, is 12. Okay, next one is our t-table. So if I took 1/5 plus 2/4, I know that I have to find the multiple that 5 and 4 have in common. So I write the multiples of 5 and the multiples of 4. And when I find one that is the same, I stop. So what would be the least common multiple for 5 and 4, Alexis?
20.
20, that's right, good job. So we're gonna take this one step further today, and we are going to be talking about adding unlike fractions, meaning they have a different denominator, and we're going to be using something called a model. So we've reviewed this before, but this is just one more way that you can use to solve adding unlike fractions that is more concrete. In other words, you can physically count the number of spaces that you color to help you get the answer. So I wanted to start with, I have 2 pieces of ribbon, and I have a craft that I'm going to be doing at home, and I know that with this piece of ribbon, I have 1/4 of a foot. And with this piece of ribbon, I have 2/3 of a foot. So what if I wanted to find how much ribbon I have all together to know if I have enough for my craft? Does anybody know what I would do? Alexis?
You would add them.
I would add them, right. But what is wrong? Why can't I just add 2/3, or I'm sorry, 1/4 plus 2/3? Why can't I do that?
They don't have the same denominator.
Good, they have a different denominator. So we actually do use adding unlike fractions in real life all the time, especially can you think of something that maybe your mom or your dad or maybe you do this, and it involves ingredients, and a lot of times the ingredients are in the form of a fraction.
Cooking.
Yes, cooking many times. And when we're cooking and we have to double or half a recipe, we have to know how to do that. So I want you to go ahead, and you are going to need your packet right now, and just one of your colored pencils. You can choose the color that you want. Good job. I like how you followed that direction and put your eyes right back on me. That was perfect. So we're going to do one together. So I want you to find the problem on your paper that says 2/6 plus 1/3 and point to it. Put your finger on it so I know that you know exactly where it is. Very, very good. All right. So I have the same paper, and so what we're going to do is we are going to use a workspace for this. Okay? And we're going to use this workspace right here. So what I want you to do is you're going to cut out this 2/6 plus 1/3, and you're going to glue it to the top of this column. So I'm going to wait just a moment for you to do that. I like how you're all following directions, cutting right on the line. working slowly and carefully without talking to your neighbor. That's exactly what I need you to do. And then I know you're ready when you have your paper glued on your paper glued on your column. Remember, just the problem. We only want the problem, not the model. Just the problem we need glued. There, good, good. I saw a couple people that realized what they were doing, and that's okay. Okay, so we're gonna move on. The first thing we need to do is we need to decide out of all of our models that are on the bottom of our page, we need to first of all figure out which one to use, because we don't know. There's 4 different models, we don't know which one to use. So the first thing we have to do is we have to go back and find the least common multiple. So right now you can use one of your colored pencils, and I want you to choose. You can either use the Mighty M method or the T-table method to find the least common multiple of what 2 numbers? What are the 2 denominators, Alexis?
3 and 6.
Good, 3 and 6. So I'm going to be walking around right now, and I'm looking to see who is using the Mighty M and who is using the T-table. And when you have that done and you have found the least common multiple for the denominators of 6 and 3, I know you're ready because your eyes are back on me. Very nice. I see some beautiful T-tables and some great Mighty M's. We're kind of a 50-50 split with that. Okay, Alexis, what did you get when you did, looks like you did the T-table. What did you find as the least common multiple for 6 and 3?
6.
Very good, 6. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our models, and we need to find the model that has 6 pieces. If you can find it, point to it. Good, that's exactly right. Awesome. All right, so we know we're going to be using that model. We're not going to cut it out quite yet. Now we're going to do something with it. So what I want you to do is you're going to take your colored pencil and you're first going to label each part of this model. So we know that there are 6 pieces and each piece equals 1/6. So go ahead and do that now. We're going to put 1/6 into each spot. This is just like when we do math stories and we are having to do representations. It's the exactly same thing. Awesome. So once we have that, we are ready to start figuring out our adding. So the first thing that you're going to do is on your paper in your column, I want you to rewrite the problem. So we're going to start with 2/6. And now we need to figure out how can we get a 6 over here? We have 1/3. So I'm going to write 1/3. And what number can I multiply by 3 so that I can get my denominator of 6? Alexis?
2.
Okay, I can multiply it by 2. Good. So then I'm going to multiply both my denominator and my numerator by 2. And I come out with a new fraction of 2/6. Now, finally, we can add these 2 fractions together. Why can we add these fractions together, but not those? Why not?
Because their denominators are the same.
Absolutely, their denominators are the same. So we're going to use our model. So the first part of the problem tells us how many of those 6 pieces are we going to color?
2.
Good. Go ahead and choose any colored pencil and color 2 pieces. Awesome. I like how you're doing that so nicely and neatly. That looks great. Okay, and now we're going to look at the second part of our problem. And the second part of our problem tells us how many 6ths are we going to color again?
2.
2. So go ahead and color 2 more 6ths. So now it's just a matter of counting. Go ahead and count how many 6ths you colored. And when you know, raise your hand. Count what you've colored. Turn and tell your neighbor first. show that you have the same, explain your answer, how you came up with that answer. Okay, and when you counted your pieces, Alexis, what did you get?
4,
4 over
6.
Good, because you colored 4 pieces out of the 6. That's right. But if we look at our paper, 4, 6 is not an answer choice. Why? I know I did it right. What's wrong with it, Alexis?
Because it can be reduced.
It can be reduced. That's right. And we learned this a few weeks ago, right? This is one of the first things that we learned when we were talking about fractions. And we know that we just have to find a number that can be divided into 4 and 6. And what number would that be?
2/3.
Good. If I divide them both by 2, my final answer is 2/3. What I want you to do is you're going to take your piece, your model, and I want you to, it doesn't have to be perfect. I always say it's not going into the Artwork Hall of Fame, but go ahead and cut that out, and you're going to glue it into the same column. You can just put it kind of on the bottom of the 2/3. So, good, yeah, that's right. I like how you're doing that. Cutting it out. Go ahead and cut it out so that it's in the right shape. Does anybody know just an additional, what we call this figure? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. Anybody have an idea what this shape might be called?
A hexagon.
That's right. Good. That goes back to our geometry unit, doesn't it? This is a hexagon. It's a 2D shape. Okay, it looks like everybody is just about ready to move on. That was perfect. So now we're going to walk through one together, but I am not going to be the one to show you. You are going to be the teacher. This is your chance to be the teacher. So let's go ahead and let's choose the problem. Let's choose the problem. Let's see, we'll do 1/4 plus 2/8. Do you see that on your paper? Does everybody see where it says 1/4 plus 2/8? Okay. So I need somebody to first come up, and you're going to either do the Mighty M or you're going to do the T-table, and you're going to come up, and as you're doing it, you're going to explain how you are finding the least common multiple. Who thinks they want to come up and be the teacher? Now remember, when we're the teacher, we can't talk to the wall, right? We have to make sure that we face our audience so everybody can hear. Okay, Alexis, do you want to come up and do that for us?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you that pen right there. So which method are you going to choose?
I'm going to do the T-table.
Okay, go ahead and do that for us. What 2 numbers are you looking for the multiple of?
4 and 8.
And why is that? Why 4 and 8?
Because they're the denominators and they have to be the same.
Awesome. Okay, so you've chosen the T-table. So she's going to do the multiples of 4 and then the multiples of 8. And you know what? I'm glad, stop for 1 second. I'm glad that this is happening right here. So right now, is there a number that's the same?
8.
8, yes. That tells us we don't need to keep going, right? Because we're looking for the least, the smallest number that they have the same. So go ahead and circle those 8s. That way we know. Okay, thank you, Alexis. You can go back to your seat. That was really, really good. You're such a good teacher. So now I want you to find your model that has 8 pieces and point to it. Point to your model that has 8 pieces. Good, and remember the last time what we did is we labeled all of our pieces. So I want you to go ahead and label each of your piece. What will we label that?
1/8.
Good, 1/8. Go ahead and do that right now. If this has 8 pieces, I wonder what we would call this shape. It's got 8 sides. What would it be called? Does anybody know?
An octagon.
Yes, it's an octagon. Good job. Okay, so the second part, I'm going to have you figure out. I want you to go ahead and go over to the last column right here. And I want you to rewrite the problem. So we have 1/4, but we need it to equal to be an 8th. So what number would I multiply these by to make 8?
2.
By 2. So go ahead and do that on your own right now. And when you can tell me what the new problem is, the whole problem, I want you to raise your hand. I love how I see such neat work. And absolutely, if you have a friend next to you that has a question, then absolutely I want you to help them. Okay, Alexis, what did you get for your new problem?
2 8s plus 2 8s.
2 8s plus 2 8s. All right, so how many pieces are we going to color on our model first?
2.
Good, go ahead and do that. Color 2 pieces. Good, I love how I see people being so nice and neat. Doing a great job. And once we've done that, how many more pieces are we going to color?
2.
That's right, good job. Go ahead and color those right now. And then Alexis, can you tell me, how many pieces did you color?
4.
You colored 4 pieces, and how many pieces were there all together?
8.
8. So we have a fraction of 4 8s. Uh-oh, 4 8s isn't an answer. 4 8s is not even, it's not anywhere on our paper. I'm not really sure what to do. Alexis, can you come up and show us what to do? Because I'm stuck. I know I colored the right number of pieces. Can you be the teacher and explain?
You have to reduce it
Okay.
and divide each, the numerator and the denominator by 4, so it equals 1/2.
Very good. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut out your model and you're going to glue it in the column with 1/2. And once you've done that, I'm going to give you some time to finish. We're going to do a couple of practice problems. You can see there's another page. You are able to work by yourself on this, or if you'd prefer to work with a buddy, work with a friend, that's fine too, but everybody does their own work, okay? So we've just finished. You guys have done both pages. I was walking around and it looked like everybody was really doing a great job with this. I had a couple of really good questions. Does anybody have a question about anything that we've done so far today? Because remember what I was telling you, if you have that question, chances are other people have that question too. No questions? Okay, so you can tell me, what is it that we were working on today? What was our objective today? Alexis, what was that?
Using models to add fractions that have different denominators.
Good, that's exactly right. Using a model, right? Because that's just another tool in our toolbox when we have to add unlike fractions. Can anybody think of how would you use this information in real life? Somebody give me an example, because we believe it or not, we use it all the time. Alexis, what's one way that we might use this if we were thinking a real life problem?
Cooking.
Cooking, okay, so give me an example.
If you have to add 2 different ingredients that have 2 different measurements, you have to be able to add them even if they have different denominators.
Right, to get a total amount. That's exactly right. Hey, you guys have done an outstanding job today. Listen to how you're going to clean up. I'm going to have Alexis pick up the scissors and the glue. I'm going to have John pick up the colored pencils. And please make sure your name is on your paper because I do want to see it. And then I know you're ready to move on to our next activity when you have nothing left on your desk and your eyes are back on me. Good job.